Okay, hey there, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and give you some information about Khan Academy. I've had a few questions, both from the parent side of things and student side of things, about how can I monitor my progress or my students' progress as they're not as they're navigating this Khan Academy program. And I want to create this video just to maybe show you how and talk through some of the components so you guys have a clear sense of what's going on. So first things first, you got to sign into an account. There is no difference between a teacher account and a student account, and that will make more sense later, but really just need an account. I found the easiest way to do this is to use like a Gmail address. Like if you have a Gmail account that you use normally, this program lets you sign in with that account. Alternatively, you can use Facebook, although Facebook doesn't report out your name directly, so you have to change that in your profile. Or you can just create an account that doesn't require an email. So like everything's free here. They're not trying to sell you anything. So any of those options, whichever you feel most comfortable with, is totally fine. So first things first, you're going to jump into this screen, and this is your main like program dashboard screen as a student. And you're probably not going to have this. Instead, they're going to ask you to choose a subject. So up here where it says subjects, you get to choose all the stuff that you can actually work on in Khan Academy, which is quite a bit of stuff. But we're going to focus on the math, and I encourage you to make sure you're picking all of math. These are what they call missions, and what this really is just a focus of the type of math you can look at and practice. So let's say you want to come in here and practice just like integral calculus. If you select that mission, it will exclude all the lower level subject stuff, and it'll just ask you questions about integral calculus. But for us, since we're trying to get better at math, make sure we're well-rounded students overall, I'm going to choose the world of math, and it will take you to this screen. Let me back up. So when you pick it, it will show up here as a panel. In fact, you might have more than one panel here, or your student might have more than one panel here, depending on what was recommended by Khan Academy or what they maybe have self-selected. But World of Math is what we want to work on, so we're not excluding any of the skills. So we're looking at like 899 total skills. So let's go ahead and resume that. So this is a mission dashboard. This is where you're going to probably spend most of your time, because here's where you can actually see the stuff that I've recommended to you or your student. And also you can see the mastery challenges up here. What you're looking for on this dashboard are things that are recommended by Mr. Collins. There are 14 total things over the last 2 months. So hopefully you have the first 7 done. If not, you're hurriedly working on them to get that complete. And then you have 7 more for this month as well. So to practice any of these, all you really have to do is click on one of them. So once you click on one of them, you can start practicing it. So let's say we want to practice points on the coordinate plane. We click on it, and then this pop-up comes up. So a few things you want to notice right away is that you have this thing here, which is your passing requirement for this particular skill. So you have to get 5 in a row correct. Down here you have a couple of built-in helps. The hint, you can click at any time, but please note if you take a hint, it will count the problem wrong, and so you have to take 5 in a row. My suggestion is take the hints early, don't take them late, because you might end up breaking up your streak. And then you also have 1 or more videos, which is attached to every problem. So if you click on the video, it does not count it wrong, but it will give you a video walkthrough about how to do an example problem. And in this case, it looks like there's 2 other ones as well, depending on the type of skill. That'll be a norm. So no, I clicked on the video, but I don't have an X here. But if I were to click on the hint, I would. It actually would show up as a question mark that I took a hint, but it wouldn't take the answer to be correct. Down to answer the question, we just have to evaluate it. There is a built-in scratch pad if you want to write on the program itself. This is all iPad compatible, please keep in mind. So we just have to answer the question correctly. So consider the following coordinate pairs. Which one of these pairs is not graphed below? Well, let's take a look. So negative 3, 1, be negative 3, 1, that's there. Negative 4, 3. I'm sorry, negative 4, negative 3 appears to be there. Negative 5, comma, negative 4 does not. So negative 5 should be about here. The negative 4 should be down here. There is no points, so I'll select it, check answer. So know a couple things. You might have missed it, but there is a flash of a number here that adds to my energy points. I do have a green check mark indicating I got that question right, and a little positive affirmation. If I got the question wrong, it would have shook its head at me, and it forces me to answer the question correctly before moving on. It doesn't give me credit for that question, but I have to answer things correctly before moving on to the next one. But that's definitely where you want to access your hints. Notice that turned green because at this point I can look at the hints without any penalty. Don't forget about the videos as well. So let's continue on. Next question here. So consider which one is not graphed below. So same kind of question. So the repetition is here that you kind of see in normal math. Let's see, 1, comma, negative 9 does not appear to be there. So I'll select that. Now, please know that these are round buttons. These are radio buttons, so there's only going to be one correct answer. So when I found the incorrect answer, I don't have to worry about it. I can just go ahead and move on. Which of these are not graphed below? Let's see. So 8 comma negative 6 is good. 5 comma 1 is not there. So boom, there we go. Got 3 in a row. Now we're cooking. Which one of these pairs is not graphed below? So negative 6 comma negative 8 is good. Negative 7 comma plus 2 is good. 2 minus 5 is good. 2 comma negative 2 is not. Okay, sorry about this, guys. I just want you to see how these skills progress. So, 3, 9 is good. 2, negative 8 is good. Negative 2, negative 6 is good. 1 comma 3 is not. Okay, so here's some important things that's going to happen. This is going to be my 5th one correct in a row. So I'm going to move this skill from not practice into practice. And you're going to see the 5 mastery levels here in just one moment. Bam! So this is my summary for this skill. Please notice a couple of things. One is give me an energy point rating, which just tells me kind of like how hard I was working and how I progressed. I did notice it does say I leveled up and went from needs practice, which means I haven't really gotten those 5 in a row yet. I might have been trying, I might have been struggling, I just haven't gotten it yet. Into the practice category. Now, please note that there are 4 total bands here. And so if I were to stop at this skill and never progress it any farther, my grade for this, when grading time comes, would be a 2 out of 5 points. If I progress up to level 1, which I'll show you how to do that in a moment, that will be 3 out of 5 points. Level 2 is 4 out of 5 points, and Mastered is 5 out of 5 points. So the goal for your student over the course of this month, like it was for last month, is to make sure all these skills are all the way up to Mastered category. Now, something to note here is that you see a timer. It started at 16 hours, and it's currently counting down. So what this is telling me is that I cannot show an additional mastery level on this skill for another 16 hours. So the reason behind this is sound. This is ensuring the student doesn't put something into their like short-term memory, immediately get tested over it, and then show mastery, but then forgets it right away. And so what this allows is for extra time for the brain to kind of absorb it, but also make sure the student's paying hopefully really close attention and can reproduce this skill not just temporarily, but over the long term. Which is ultimately what the goal for math is just not a temporary kind of showing of mastery, but a permanent one. Okay, so I can practice a skill again if I feel I need to. I can continue the next task, which will take me to some kind of challenge, but I'm going to choose to X out and go out. So notice that skill has now disappeared, like points in the coordinate plane is no longer something that's been recommended by for me. So I can start on my next skill set. The mastery challenge at the top, this dark blue bar, is how you actually progress skills. So think of this like a quiz, and the quiz questions that get loaded in are the ones that you practiced, which is why my general advice is that if you, for anybody, student, or if you see your student, if they still have things that are recommended by Mr. Collins, I would actually focus on those first and not worry about the mastery challenges. Because again, the only kind of things that are in the mastery challenges are things that I practiced. So if I don't practice them in the program, they're not going to be in the mastery challenges, and if they're not in mastery challenges, they can't level them up. These are quizzes, so like if I click on it, again, it will just be the things that I practice, or it'll be the things that Khan Academy thinks I need to practice. And since I just made this account like literally 20 minutes ago, it knows nothing about me. So these are the ways I get to level things up and down. This isn't like a 5 in a row thing; it's a quiz. So I can type in an answer, and I check, and I get it right. I've now told Khan Academy to take that skill and level me up because I totally know it. I'm not going to do these all, but I might be able to whip through really fast. Let's see how we can do this here. Let's see, 6, 6, 3. And again, I know these look like really low level, but that's because I haven't practiced enough to tell Khan Academy how much math I really know yet, which is why it's important for your students to do all my practices first. Otherwise, they'll be spending a lot of time doing multiplication when I know they kind of know that multiplication. And again, notice none of the skills that we just practiced are in here because of that 16-hour delay, which again is why you want to do that practice first. So rewrite 9,617. Okay, so again, just like before, you see some things are getting leveled up. Now, hopefully these are the skills that they've been practicing. But again, Khan Academy knows nothing about me, so we're not entirely sure what to give me. But you see here, I'm already getting a lot of credit Notice these skills are going from practice level 1 because I'm showing them in mastery challenges. So it's going the first level beyond just practiced. Like it's assuming if I can master it here, I didn't need to practice in the first place. But again, the way to ensure those things are showing mastery challenges is to make sure you're practicing them first. Okay. All right. So now, in terms of checking your progress, like how you're doing, I mean, clearing these out will know that you practice them, but you won't know your mastery level, so you won't know your grade. But there's a couple nice ways you can check that. If you go back out home, and then go here where it says progress. This first screen is all the stuff that I practice in Khan Academy, period. And so that's not really too good for me to see that. What I really want to see is my coach recommendations because that's going to be the parts that I just want to be graded on. So if you notice, I practiced a couple things. Here's the points in the coordinate plane that you saw me practice. This is one I did earlier when I was showing someone how to kind of check their own work. And as far as this column goes, this tells you how many questions you needed to actually move it up to that practice level. So when you look at your students, it might have anywhere between like 3 and 30, 40, 50 problems. It all depends on how many problems they needed to practice before they actually knew it. And so like the theory of this program is you got to practice until you know it. But that's, I would also argue that's kind of how we know stuff in life too. You just keep practicing until it becomes second nature. Here you see the standard I'm setting, which is getting 5 in a row to move it up to practice. And you can also practice from this screen. So like let's say you need to practice a distance formula. You can go back out to that dashboard screen, but you can just practice it here too. And these will all still count towards your 5 in a row. So that's how you can check your progress. Parents, again, if you want to drill a little deeper, students, you want to see something. If you go here to, if you go here to programs, instead of going to coach recommendations, go over here to activity. This will give you a graphical representation of how much time your student's actually spending in the program. You can change the activity. I would say, if you want to do it by month, that's fine. I'm just going to go from all time. So for me, this account, I've only been working a total of 2 minutes. And so if you kind of think how long it takes to master some of these skills, the estimate for the month is probably closer to 300 minutes for everything. Not every student needs that, and that's okay. It's not about time anyway. It's just really about knowing how your student's spending your time. This little dot thing tells you that I earned a badge, and that's a little kind of metagame built in. The other thing I really want to focus on though is this line, and this line indicates how much energy I'm putting into the program. And so it's a weird metric, and I don't have the algorithm for it, but it seems fairly accurate to me. That the more I work at something, the more this bar goes up, meaning that I'm working on stuff I should be working on, and also I'm working really hard at it. So if you see like this bar like barely dipped, that means even though I might have spent 2 minutes on the problem, I probably didn't need to. Okay, so that's how you can kind of interpret that. But again, the important thing just might be seeing how much time students are spending in the program. You can also look at the focus. And this is just a bar chart, and your students will look way more complicated than this. But it tells me all the things I'm working on and what's taking me the longest time to work on stuff. And so it seems to me like I'm spending more time on like recognizing Brady's lines and line segments than I am on multiplying one-digit numbers, which should be important. And so like from the parent side of things, from the student side of things, and from the teacher side of things, they can look at this and say, well, you're spending most of your time on appropriate things. So you're not spending most of your time like in skip counting or telling time. You're actually using the program for what it's used for. Okay. Now there's another level you can go to, and here this is both for students and for parents. But so when you start a Khan Academy account, it doesn't really differentiate between a teacher account and a student account. So even though you've seen this stuff from the student side, I can take this account and make it a teacher account really, really quick. And so for parents, if you want to see like the detailed reports I get to see about your student, which is like exactly what they're answering and where the really hot spots are, where the struggles are, you can't see this from this view. But if you create a class and have your student join under you, so you can be their coach as well, you'd have access to all that stuff as too. And students, if you want to create your own class and then add yourself to it, you'd see the same kind of reports I can too. Here's the fastest way to do it. If you click up here where your profile kind of drop down is, and side note, if yours does not have like your name in it somewhere, you probably want to go to settings and change and add your real name to it. But what we're going to do here is actually add students. So like we're going to take this from being the teacher side. So if I add students, it'll take me through this kind of rigmarole of creating a class, but I'm going to come down here where it says add class. Okay, and then I'm going to call this, student's name is class. Okay, so this is the view I would see as a teacher. Again, you get to pick your mission. I'm going to pick the world of math. Okay, so pick that here. And then I get to invite students. Now, you don't actually have to do this. Well, all you need to do is give your student this code right here. And if they join that code, you'll have access to their information. So I can't show you that because I don't want to show any kind of student accounts. But what you'll get to see is like how many minutes they spend on stuff, how many minutes, what they're struggling on, what kind of mastery levels they can show. Because you can go here to like student progress, skill progress, etc. And you can also recommend things to your student. So it's going to say I don't have any students, so I can't recommend anything. But what you typically see on this screen are all the skills that are available, and you can actually recommend them to your student. So let's say you make this observation while your student's working at home that they're really, really struggling with negatives. You can actually go find that skill and then add it to your students' like list of stuff they need to do. Like, son or daughter, I notice that you're struggling with negative stuff, negatives and positives and multiplying. Here's some extra practice for you that you can add to it. It may not directly translate to stuff they're doing in class, but if you notice they're working on stuff and they need extra help, um, that's for them. That's for you guys to decide. If you want to go back to the student side of things, you just have to click home, and so now you can kind of play back and forth, clicking Khan Academy, clicking home, and getting back into the world of math. There's also a way that you can have your students self-select skills. If you go to the very, very bottom of stuff, and this is all the stuff that Khan Academy is suggesting I try, you can actually find skills, again, that you want to try. So let's say you're on the student side of things, and again, as a student, you're like, you know what, I just really, really need help with solving systems of graphing and solving systems inequalities. So you can take this, you can add it. Oh, I missed it, sorry. What's going on here? My computer's acting pretty slow right now. Hold on. Let's just pick this. So let's say I need some help counting in scenes. I can add it, and if you go to the top here, you'll see that it was recommended by me. There it is. So counting in scenes, I've added it, and I can actually go ahead and practice as well. So I hope this helped. Sorry I couldn't show you the student screen. It's just not something I can do for certain laws. So, but that's how you can actually take your student and add it to you. And if you have any additional questions as parents, I'd be more than happy to walk you through the process again. Because I really believe in this program. Like it doesn't take place when we're doing geometry, but it's certainly something that's going to help more than we're able to in the past. This whole feed right here is just like an active feed, like we're used to seeing like a social media now. I would kind of ignore this. A lot of students have been focused on this and saying, well, I only have like 3% done. That's not really what I'm checking. I'm checking the recommendations that I've given you. All right, so if you have any questions, please let me know. I hope this helps so you can help kind of monitor your student. Right now, we're in the second month of activity. All that should be posted so you can have a sense of like how long they have to work on stuff. But it's approximately another 3 weeks. So within 3 weeks, so we have to get those skills all the way up. So if your student's working on that and their grade has dipped, know that all it's going to take to get that grade back up to where they want it is more time. Like time and energy is all it is. So right now we should be kind of in the second week of these new recommendations. So if you're looking at your students' work, like hopefully what you're seeing is very few of these recommended by Mr. Collins' things. And what they're really doing is kind of going in once or twice a day and just doing some mastery challenges, getting those knocked out. The mastery challenges will start to space themselves out, just like the skills. You saw there was a 16-hour delay. There's only so many mastery challenges the program will let you do in a day. For the same reason, like you just can't absorb all that information well, and so it's going to force you to spread those out, which is why I'm giving everyone a lot of time to do it. I want you to be working consistently, but you need to be working from the beginning. Any student who tried to do this in like the last week found that out. Like there is a limit to how much you can actually do in this program, given the time. So you definitely need to space it out. All right, so I hope that helped. Thank you very much. Sorry for the long-winded nature of the video, but you guys have a good day.